Welcome back, everyone. Phil with Vigor Training. This week in the 50 state qualification series, we're going to be tackling New York. So this is the New York Law Enforcement Duty Handgun Qualification course. This is a 50-round course of fire, and I need a 70% or better to pass it. As you can see, today is the opening day of spring training for my Phillies. So even though we're not playing the Yankees, we're still in the baseball frame of mind. So today we're tackling the New York qualification. Phase one, we start off here at the 3-yard line. This is going to be draw to fire 2 rounds, and I have 3 seconds to do that. I'm going to repeat that 5 times. I'm then going to back up to the 5-yard line and do exactly the same thing, then back to the 7-yard line where I'm going to fire 10 rounds in 12 seconds. So that's the first 3 parts of the New York State qualification. Let's give it a try. Nice easy 153. $115. $115. $107. And $132. Now we're going to back up to the 5. Do it again. $134. $134. $132. It's 528. We've moved back to the 10-yard line now. This drill calls for 6 rounds in 10 seconds. New York does something interesting though. They change up the qualification course depending on what model gun you're carrying. And in this case, I'm carrying a Glock 17. So I'm gonna be doing a 3-round reload, 3-round in 10 seconds. That's the first string. Then the second string is gonna be draw to 3 rounds, and I have 8 seconds. Then in the third string, it is draw to 3 rounds where I have 6 seconds. So it's 3 strings of fire here at the 10. First one has a reload, then after that, I don't have a reload any longer. So here we go. 3 reload 3 in 10 seconds. That's a 524. Now 3 rounds in 8 seconds. $227, now in 6 seconds. Back to the 25. I'm back at the 25-yard line. This is going to be 8 rounds kneeling in 20 seconds. That's going to finish us out. And with that, we're going to walk up and see how we did. All right, guys. So some initial thoughts on the New York course of fire. They use a B-21 target, which is a very old school style target and very big. It's a large target, pretty simple to shoot on. You need a 70% or better to pass, and it looks like I pretty easily shot a perfect score. Guys, here's the target. Okay, now I've got something different for you. Normally this is where I would go into the double half, but to be honest, completely honest, I'm getting kind of bored with double half. So this time for New York, what I'm going to do to try to challenge myself is I'm going to shoot your qualification course upside down. I'm going to draw the gun, flip it upside down, pull the trigger with my pinky finger. I'm going to use the standard times and distances on this one, and I'm going to try it upside down. Let's give it a shot. as you can see, even upside down, this isn't a difficult course of fire. I was able to pull down a 247 out of 250, and as you guys can see, the 3 that I dropped a point on those 3 shots, just outside my primary score zone upside down, were just off the edge. So if I can make all the time hacks, including reloads, and only be down 3 points, go on guys, there's no excuse to struggle with this course of fire. So New York, in terms of difficulty, even though I didn't do the standard scoring of double half, but I went for upside down, which is also an interesting challenge, a little bit of a carnival trick, but that's okay. A little trick shooting, exhibition shooting, whatever you want to call it. It adds some challenge. So for difficulty, New York, you're getting a 1. That's it. This is a really easy course of fire. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but this one's a little bit too easy. Are you really testing someone's proficiency if I can almost shoot a perfect score upside down? Not really, okay? So difficulty is a 1. Now relevance, okay? Relevance, I'm gonna hit you pretty hard, New York. This is also, just like last week when we were down in Virginia, this is a very archaic, old style, no modernization. There are reloads built into this, but we're not testing any one-hand shooting. We're not testing other manipulations. There's no movement. And not that you need to have a laundry list of things in qualifications, all right? But this doesn't feel like a very modern, relevant course of fire. It also doesn't feel like a very relevant test of skill sets that an officer would need to be able to operate the firearm in a combative capacity. So for relevance, guys, I'm gonna hit you with a 2, okay? Just a 2 on relevance. Now, shootability. In terms of shootability as a shooter, this isn't a difficult course of fire to understand. None of the commands are complex. In fact, you do the same thing over and over in the first 2 phases, and then just a 10-rounder at the 7-yard line. Pretty simple to operate, okay? Not very difficult at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you a 3 on the shootability. Now, administration. Administration, this one has me a little bit nervous, and I will tell you why. While it's easy in shootability, and normally shootability and administration scores go hand in hand, in this case, they're really not going to, and I'll tell you why. Because the way that New York lists individual gun models and different courses of fire. So if you're carrying a Glock 17, your course of fire is different than you're carrying a Glock 19, just 2 rounds different. If an officer gets in a gunfight, other than having 2 rounds less, their fight's the same. So why are we testing them differently? All right, lower capacity guns have a higher challenge in this course of fire than higher capacity guns. That shouldn't be that way. All right, we shouldn't have capacity factoring into difficulty. And in terms of administration, I can only imagine the nightmare of having people load them up, but then having to manage different reloads, who's hitting a reload where, and when people get malfunctions, man, what an absolute mess. So even though I was tempted to give you guys a 4, I'm gonna go back and give you another 3 on administration, okay? So totaled up New York, you're looking at a 9 out of 20. All right, guys, if you like this video and videos like this, let me know in the comments section. Subscribe on the YouTube. Check us out on social media at Vigor Training. Let me know your thoughts on this, what you think, how you do if you shoot this qual course as well. And stick with us. Next week, we're gonna be traveling back south again, north, south, north, south, north, south. We're heading back down to North Carolina. See you next week.